Good evening everyone, and welcome to ReinaMoesDesigns. And tonight we're going to be working on a special request from a special young lady in a 2, possibly 3-part series for a Sweet 16. So Sarah Klein, if you're watching, this one's for you. Okay, so for this particular project we're going to need some of the cylinder vases that you can find at the Dollar Tree. Sometimes they have these 9-inch vases, and sometimes they almost all the time they have these 7-inch vases. So I'm going to be using one or the other just to give you options. If you have the 9-inch vases, great. If you have the 7-inch vases, you can make both of those work, because we're going to also be using our handy dandy candlesticks, multiples of these. I know Sarah said she has like 35 tables to decorate, so in doing this particular tutorial for this project, I'm keeping in mind that 35 tables to decorate is a lot, and the expense can be great, but also keep in mind that you do not have to have the exact same arrangement centerpiece on every last table. It's good to kind of break them up, and that's the reason why I said it's going to be 2 to 3 parts to this, because I want to give her options to change it up, and I want to keep it economical for her and for her family. So like I said, both of these came from the Dollar Tree. These you can almost always find at the Dollar Tree. You can order them online. These you can even order online from the Dollar Tree, but sometimes they have them and sometimes they don't. Same thing with the candlesticks. They can be ordered online from Dollar Tree. I picked up these mini masks in packs of 10. These came from Amazon, very economical. Her theme, obviously, as you can tell, is black and gold, also lace. She didn't specify the color, so I went with the black and gold, and it's a masquerade theme. I picked up from Hobby Lobby some tassels here. I'm going to show you how to use that, along with 2 different colors of lace, which I got off of Amazon. I have black, and then I also have this gold color. So starting with this, we're going to be working with these glass pieces, and as you know, here in Texas you can't use hot glue because it's not going to be stable. The E6000 does not hold glass like it should here in Texas, and I'm thinking it might be because of humidity. So we're going to use epoxy, either Gorilla Glue or epoxy from Harbor Freight. I've even found it at some dollar stores, King Dollar and Epic Dollar. They also carry epoxy. So it really just depends on where you can find your epoxy. Walmart has Gorilla Glue epoxy. So that's what we're going to be using for this project. So if you keep watching, I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I'm going to take some alcohol pads and I'm going to clean off the surfaces of the glass that I'm going to be using the epoxy with. So since I already know how I want the design of this particular glass vase centerpiece to look, I'm placing these upside down, and I'm going to use the alcohol pad to remove any kind of residue from my hands or the shelves or anything like that from this glass on the bottom, and letting that dry. And then now is where you would decide where and how you want your candlesticks to be affixed to your vase, since I'll be combining these into one very tall unit. And the way that I want them to sit is like this. I want the vases to sit just like this. So the bottoms are what I'm going to be making sure that I have no oil, lint, or dirt on. So I'm cleaning that with the alcohol pad and setting it to the side to let it dry while I mix up my epoxy. Okay, here I'm showing you the epoxy that I'm going to use, which did come from King Dollar, and they have a little safety nib in between the 2 plungers, so I'm just using scissors to get that out, and then I'm going to show you what that looks like. Sometimes they're difficult to remove, but if you take your time, you can get it relatively easy. So that's the little plastic nib. Now I'm just pulling the plunger back a little bit so that there isn't any epoxy in the beginning. I've popped the top off of the epoxy, showing you my paper plate and my popsicle stick, and equally I will dispense A and B part of the epoxy onto the plate. Then I'm going to pull back on the syringe to suck down the epoxy into the tube and begin to mix. Once I'm done mixing the epoxy together, I will actually start to apply it to the outside rim of the candlestick, as you see me doing here. And then I will apply that once I have all layers covered to the bottom of the vase, and then I'll be setting that off to the side after I make sure that it is good and centered and looks nicely. And then you'll watch me do the same exact steps over again. Now keep in mind, when you work with the epoxy, you have to work quickly because it does dry relatively fast within a couple of minutes. You have a little bit of time for repositioning, but for the most part it's relatively quick. So I'm going to center everything and then double check it again, as you can see, just because I want to make sure that the epoxy doesn't slide the candlestick forward on the base of the vase, because that does happen a little bit sometimes. So you just want to double check after you work with the epoxy. I really enjoy using the epoxy because once it's set, it is set and you don't have to worry about it again. Okay, so now that we have completed putting our vase together, just want to show you guys how sturdy that is. Once this epoxy fully cures over the next couple of days, it's going to be unbreakable. So what I've done is I have taken a piece of the lace that measures around the circumference of the vase, because we're gonna decorate. Now you already know, I've shown in other videos where I've taken lace and I have affixed it to glass pieces such as this, glass vessels, using Mod Podge, which that's something that you can definitely do, but once you do that, it's going to be permanent. So I'm not going to do that because I'm going to keep this piece for other projects, so I need to be able to interchange this. So I'm going to use a little hot glue and I'm going to affix this lace right here at the bottom where it covers this little ledge where the feet come together. Excuse me, where the foot of the candlestick comes together with the bottom of the vessel. And I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue, and I hope that you can see this, and the camera comes in real tight where you can see that I'm just going to attach. I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue and affix it right here on the edge, just a small little dollop. And then place another little dollop towards the bottom of the glass where the lace will sit. Be very careful while you're working with this hot glue. And obviously when you're doing this project, you can use spray-on adhesive or you can use Mod Podge, whichever one suits your fancy. But like I said, I'm going to be reusing this, so I'm just using hot glue for convenience. And just making sure I have everything lined up nicely. Okay, so now that I have it nicely lined up, I'm just going to tack any loose pieces that I have onto the vessel and just close it. Now, here's where you decide, do I want to put anything else to embellish the bottom of this one vessel or not? And it's strictly your choice if that's something that you want to do or not do. It's totally up to you. So the next step for me is I want to go ahead and add a little bit of embellishment here. Our colors, like I mentioned before, are black and gold. So I'm going to use the tassels here, and I'm going to affix them right at the bottom of the vessel, right here, using some hot glue. And when I come back, I'll show you the next step. So the next step, I'm gonna take this satin ribbon and I'm gonna jazz up this beautiful black lace down here. I also have, and I'm using it because I have it, I have a beautiful little brooch buckle that I'm gonna be using from Totally Dazzled, but you can find brooch buckles like this. I know Hobby Lobby in their sewing area where their buttons and notions are, they have one similar like this. I see them in silver. I haven't seen any in gold. At least today when I went, I didn't see any in gold. And you can obviously order it online. Amazon has different buckles and such if that's something you choose to use. But the quality of Totally Dazzled, their products are just gorgeous and they're pretty reasonable. But you know, like I said, this young lady has 35 tables to do, so you may find a better deal that's more economical online at Amazon or Hobby Lobby. So just look at different places, but Totally Dazzled, the stuff is it's just gorgeous there. So what I'm gonna do is, this satin ribbon came from the Dollar Tree, and if you can see, it has a very smooth side and the other side has a little texture to it, and it's just glistening like glitter, but it's not glitter and it doesn't flake off or anything like that. So you can decide if you want to have a very smooth look or if you want to have a textured look. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna actually use the smooth look because I really want the emphasis on this bottom lace to be the gorgeous rhinestones that are in this particular buckle. So I'm just gonna go ahead and measure around and make my cut where I need to make my cut. Then I'm going to feed. Make sure you have good shears also. Then I'm going to feed the buckle through by pinching and just weaving it through, just like any kind of belt that you may have. Just like so. And then you position it just like so and place it right in the center of this beautiful lace. And I want all my seams to be together, so I'm just gonna turn this and make sure that this is in the center. Place. Make sure that it's still centered. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a little dollop of glue right on the back end of the ribbon and press on the seam. And you can also hide the seam by putting the buckle right close to it as well. It's totally your choice, but I'm putting mine towards the back because that's my preference. And then I'm just going to place a little bit of glue on the back. Making sure that it matches up. And carefully, because the glue is hot, just make sure that everything is sealed. And it's a seam on a seam. And just look how pretty that looks. On to the next step. Okay, so here's what we're looking like so far. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these beautiful little candle holders that I got from Ikea, and then I was able to find these gold little LED candles from the Dollar Tree. and it has a nice little flickering tone, which I'm going to place inside of this votive holder. And if you had the shorter LED candles such as this, which is the submersible ones, you could place that in so that it can sit and illuminate from the bottom of the vessel, or you could even use a simple bullet LED light if that's your choice in this little votive holder, which would be cute. You could also use fairy lights in this section, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. And the reason why I'm doing that is because what I plan for the top, once I do it, it's going to be heavy, and I don't want to move the vessel after it's done. So I have these lights, which came from the Dollar Tree, these luminaries, which you can take and you can place inside of the vessel here. You can place it inside. You can place it inside if this is what you actually have, fairy lights. There's also some other fairy lights that I have that I got off of Amazon that have a much smaller battery pack, which can be hidden more readily. And they have it in a bright white as well as this warm white that I have. And so with this one being from the Dollar Tree, the battery pack is so large, you would need to be able to hide this in possibly putting a small floral arrangement here at the bottom, or even if you use like a boa with that was black with some gold touch to it, which I actually have one of those, but I've cut it up and I didn't want to use it in this particular project. But for your lighting element, you do have choices, and I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. One like this, you know, you could still have the choice if you wanted to hide the battery pack. By it being so much smaller, it'll be easier to hide than the other one from the Dollar Tree. But you know, it's all about what you have the funds for, because they even have other ones that are battery powered that the battery pack is even smaller than this one. So these are just a few lighting elements that you can think of. You wouldn't want to use a real candle underneath this because there won't be any air to circulate to keep that flame going. So that's why you could go with a nice LED light that would work really cute. But if you're going to use one that looks like a candle, you really need to have it in a nice votive holder, which here's one that you could definitely use. And the Dollar Tree, they have a really cute option too, because I picked this up at the Dollar Tree, which you can use this one as another lighting element option for this particular vessel, which is still really, really cute, and it's also economical. So on to the next step. The next step and almost final step is to attend to our top vessel. Now keep in mind that when you're setting this up, you want to make sure that you Windex and clean your vessels to make sure that there's no fingerprints or anything on it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the submersible LED light that I have here. I'm going to place it on the bottom of the vessel. So I'll add some of the water beads, just enough to cover the lighting. Then you decide if you want your black or your gold to go first, and I actually want to have the black in first. So I'm just going to place the mask right in the center and cover it with beads. And you can adjust it how you like. And then I'm going to place the gold one as well once I get a little bit higher, and I'm actually going to have it sitting adjacent so that it can be seen, and fill it up. And then the next step would be to go ahead and add water to this particular arrangement. So when I come back, I'll show you how that looks. And just look how pretty that is. You can see the masks floating. Now I'm gonna take a little spoon and kind of stir this a little bit to kind of move the bubbles up. And then I'll come back and I'll show you exactly what the arrangement looks like once everything is put together. And so here is our final project. And I think, just like always, that it turned out really, really special. I went ahead and I did a simple floral arrangement that I placed on a dish. I'm gonna take this off so you guys can see. I did this on a simple little plastic acrylic dish that I found at King Dollar. I just glued the dry foam, the round dry foam from Dollar Tree. I just glued that there, and then I just took flowers that I had from the Dollar Tree. They had regular roses and spray roses in the yellow, as well as some chrysanthemums, which I love those flowers. And then I found black roses at King Dollar, and I found at Hobby Lobby today some black hydrangeas, which are really, really pretty. So I just cut those off. Then I did little loops, almost like swag work, of black pearls that I found off of Amazon, this large roll here off of Amazon. So I used these black pearls just to embellish and give it a little bit more, I don't know what else to say. I just think it's so cute. Sarah, I really hope you like this particular tutorial and that there are things from it that you can grasp and use. I'm gonna put all of the links down below of everything that I possibly can put a link to, in case you or anybody else watching this tutorial likes any of this project and wants to purchase it. Then you'll have the links below. And remember, I know that I've said this before, but like for Dollar Tree, most of these items are from the Dollar Tree. You can have whatever it is that you purchase online from Dollar Tree delivered to the store that's closest to you, and you don't have to worry about shipping. If shipping's not an issue for you, you can have it delivered straight to your door and pay for the shipping. But if you have it delivered to the store, then you don't have to pay for shipping. So that saves you a few pennies. And I know there are some items on their website, on Dollar Tree's website, that they actually let you buy like 4 of. But for the most part, a lot of things they have, you have to buy it in bulk, like by the case, however many come in the case. But there are things that they let you buy like 4 or 6 of. So pay attention to that whenever you are ordering online. Like I said, bulk of everything came from Dollar Tree. There are a few things from King Dollar, Hobby Lobby, and quite a bit has come from Amazon, like these beautiful little, and I'm going to turn this, these beautiful little masks. See here, this is the gold mask, which I think is really adorable, and so is the black one. And they come in this little package with 10 of them in there, 10 black, and if you order the gold, it'll be 10 gold. And you know, this of course came from totallydazzled.com. I got this at Hobby Lobby, which I think is so pretty. But wherever it is, if you like this project that you choose to buy your merchandise from so that you can make this project or recreate it, it's all up to you. But if you're interested, I will put the links down below. If you use those links, we get a little piece of, I don't want to call it a commission because it's not really a commission, but if you use any of those links, it does help out the channel here so that we can continue growing. And I just think this project turned out wonderful. Sarah, I hope you enjoyed it and you can use it. Definitely give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this particular tutorial. Always subscribe if this seems like a channel that would interest you. And most importantly, have a wonderful evening. Bye.